Welcome to the second installment, the second episode, yes, the second episode of the LV podcast with me, Michelle Hall. Listen, family, we have a lot to talk about today. I have been pondering on this thought for the last week or so. It's just been on my heart, so I want to go ahead and share it with all of you. So we're just going to jump right in. I'm focusing on letting go. Not just letting go of things, of the former things in your past. We hear this term all the time. You have to move on. You have to move forward. You have to let go. But the thing about it is sometimes we actually go through the process and we do understand that we got to move forward. But the letting go portion of it, that in between from letting go and walking into your new, that right there, that little passageway, that little pathway right there can be tough. And it can be tough, especially when you don't understand what's going on. Sometimes you feel that you actually let go of a situation. So, okay, prime example. we're going to be transparent here. Just let's talk about me. I moved from New York about 5 years ago. And at that time when the Lord, led me and started to show me my new journey and embark on this new journey, I went ahead and did that walk. Well, yes, I let go. I understood that I was moving to a new place. But so many things, I've made so many connections. I had so many ties and so many things to New York. That's where I grew up my entire life. And the thing about it is, I had to understand there's some things, there's some connections, there's some things that I had to just let go of completely in order to walk into the new. And the thing about it is when you go to walk into the new, sometimes you don't quite see it opening up the way you would like, or for it to be clear that the new has been opened up. I think that when we look at scripture and it says, behold, I'll do a new thing in you. Old things are passed away. We have the notion, at least I did. I had the notion that, okay, it's new. I'm walking into my new. So I'm just going to jump into my new. And even though that is true, that God spoke it and he's already opened the door, but Michelle has to go through a transition, right? Or should I use a transformation? And in order to go through that transformation, that means I have to kind of forget about some things. I have to let go of some former things. So what does that look like? In the natural? There were some friendships that I had. Not that I could just cut them off, but there were some friendships that I had to look at differently in my new place. We have several attachments and several things, and a lot of times we don't realize how, because something doesn't open up the way we think it should, or our life and our new doesn't look like the way we thought it was going to look, we have a tendency to look back or try to at least not let go fully of our former, of what we were in. But listen, I'm here to tell you today that that's a mistake. That's a mistake. I'll never forget, there was a period of time, this has been like a routine thing in my life that I've had to kind of deal with. And I find that most people deal with this part. It is that in between to get from this point A to it might be point C, but there's a whole in between that happens, and you're gung-ho and excited in the beginning when you realize you've received direction from God. You know what you're supposed to do. You have a clear path to what you need to do, and you go ahead and you do it. But you didn't think about the in-between. You didn't know how that was going to feel. You didn't know that was going to be uncomfortable. So because, like I said, this has been a theme in my life that I want to share with you. I want to share this portion with you. Roll back to some years back. I was in this great apartment in Island Park, New York, that I loved. I mean, it was a great apartment. It had everything that I needed, and things were provided, and I had these gorgeous Italian couches. That I got. I mean, I love them. They were ivory, and they had the beautiful dark cherry wood. They were just beautiful, two full couches that I loved. But God had started the journey of me transitioning to my new place. I didn't know there was going to be an in-between place, but the in-between place was not the same size as the place that I was in. Well, lo and behold, I'm at church, and I'm talking to God. I'm like, okay, I have to go to this place. Where do I put my stuff? I'm trying to figure out, where am I going to put these things, because this place I knew was going to be temporary. And I was, I said, I'm just going to leave this apartment, go to a place, because I was planning to relocate even then. But I couldn't figure out what to do with my stuff. See, these are things that were acquired. Miracles happened. Like the couches, I got them. Someone had just bought them, didn't fit in their location, and they just bought a new set and wanted to get rid of them. So I got two Italian couches for like $100 that were barely used. So I think they had it in their house not even a month, right? So that's a miracle of God. Like he made the way. He gave me this place. I had a huge TV. I had all the things that I wanted, my own private parking space. I had surrounded by water. There was a private beach. There was a public beach. There was even a little lake that I could go to. This place was set up, and I watched the miracle of God. But guess what? There was new happening. There was something else in my journey that I was not willing. I was willing to go on the journey, but I wasn't ready to let go. So, fast forward, I go to church that day. I'll never forget it. She was one of my co-teachers. Nikki, actually, she was one of my co-teachers, and she had come to church that day. We used to teach the youth together, and she had come to church that day, and she says, Michelle, I don't understand this. I was praying for you, and the Lord was showing me this, and I didn't understand it. And she said, it was like the Lord's, I saw like your hand was stretching. The Lord had his hand out, and your hand was stretching towards him, and you were so close. You were just only like a few inches away from being able to touch his hand. And I'm like, well, I'm looking at the vision saying, why couldn't she touch his hand? And when she looked, she's like, I didn't understand this, but you were holding on to a couch. Your hand was holding on to a couch. And I started to laugh because I realized that I was not letting go. See, letting go is not always as deep as you think. Sometimes you think, oh, I let go of my past. Oh, I moved away from that. But the things that were attached to your past, did you let it go? Did you really let it go so that you can walk into your new? And even if you don't necessarily jump into your new, you're on your way to the new. You still need to let go of what you have by faith, knowing that God in the journey is providing something else for you. And this was a hard podcast for me because it was really, when I tell you, this was something that I would definitely say is close to home. Because again, those situations come up again, and I love hard. My family, my friends will tell you, I love my family, love my friends. I love, just assignments that God gives me, and I'm very loyal. So those things I hold on to a lot of times, and like a lot of people do, right? The ones that they just, you stick with your friends, you stick with your family, all those things. And I'm not telling you that those things are wrong. But if they stop you or they hinder you from walking and experiencing your new journey, then guess what? You have to reevaluate, and you have to learn to let go. You got to learn to let go. You have to let go. And it might be time for you to evaluate in your life and all those things that you hold on to. Sometimes we hold on to certain traditions and certain things. We hold on to it in such a way and so strong that when God is moving us into a new place, into a new part with him, we can't. And it also comes in this season and time, and I'm going to be transparent with this too, that I want to share it because I know a lot of people are dealing with grief. You know, I'm still going through the grieving process myself. There've been a lot of loss. Just in general, I would just like the whole world has experienced a lot. And what I had to be reminded of in this process, I had to go back to when I lost my mother in 1993. And it took years. It took years. I was living, I was functioning, I was doing a lot of things, but I was not accessing my new. I was still looking back. I was focusing on the former things. See, I can acknowledge her life. I can have the memories. I can smile about those things. I can take all the tools that I've learned. But if those things, if it got to the point that you're frozen or that you're stuck or you can't move forward, yes, you need to evaluate. You need, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. And so, yes, I was walking with him, trusting him. But you know what I learned was that he allowed me to go through that process. But it took years. It took years, y'all. To be honest, it wasn't until I made the official move and moved to Georgia that I had a moment in time. And it didn't happen when I first moved. So see, when I first moved, I had to literally let go of everything, right? And I'm going in my new. I'm thinking I've already dealt with all those things. I've already dealt. My mother had been gone for a long time, and I had already been living this life, without her being in the earthly realm, right? So I felt like I was already done. That place was already taken care of. I had already let go. And it wasn't until I got here, I was here for about almost 2 months. And I realized that I really did not let go. And in order for me to walk this out, see, I didn't know what the new was yet. All I was in a location. I didn't know what was laid out or what the plan was laid out for me. I just made the move to the location. But making the move was not enough. There's some things I had to let go of. Some of the former things, letting go of the former things. I had to let go of some things. And once I let go of those things, and it was a process, and it still is a process, I find myself walking into new things, evolving and growing, and walking in purpose. And actually, there's more joy now than there've ever been, because I'm actually where I'm supposed to be, right? And then the next thing is, when you have let go, and remember not the former things, but behold, he does a new thing in your life. You get to walk into that place that God has for you, fulfilling purpose. Other people be blessed just by your life. And guess what? When you have to revisit, or someone comes and that knows you that knew you before, they'll see something different in your life. The reason why I'm sharing it today on this particular podcast is because I know that people, we are as just a unit, we are dealing with a lot right now. There's a lot happening. And the first episode was focusing on, yes, I said, but when I walk through, right? Because I understood the assignment. Once I understand the assignment, then I can continue to walk through. But the thing about it is, I realized that I didn't want to make that walkthrough seem something that's easy all the time. Because sometimes the walkthrough is not easy. Sometimes it is not easy. But the thing about it is, just because I am faced with a Red Sea, just because I look like I'm faced with the Jordan, just because look like I'm faced with some obstacles, I still got to show up to the location. I got to show up to the location and watch it open up. If the children of Israel never got to the Red Sea, they would not have known or experienced the miracle of God to walk across the Red Sea on dry land and watch their past drown in the sea. Listen, it's not over. There's so much for you. There's so much so much for you, and we are continuously growing, maturing, evolving. God is continuously doing things in our lives. And so I just want to encourage you today. Let go. Let go. Walk through and enter your new. So let go. Let go of you made a bad decision before. Well, the decision's already made. Now it's time to make some better decisions. Now it's time to make the right decisions in your life. Stop focusing on the bad decisions that you made and the results of it or the consequences of it. You're already experiencing those consequences. Make different decisions. Make a different choice. Make a different turn. Let go of what was. Walk into what is so that you can become and walk into what God has for you. Your purpose-filled, purpose-driven purpose. The purpose that's for your life. I know this particular episode may not have been as just as catchy as the other one, but I'm hoping that you all are listening, because I just have to share what's given to me, and it's given to me in a real way. You really have to just let go of some of those things. The thoughts that you knew were wrong how many years ago, and you allowed them to creep back up, let go of them. Let go of those former things. Let go of the former things. Walk into the new and watch the transformation that happens in you. Oh, because it's not over yet. Who you see today is going to be transformed. You see, the Michelle that's even talking to you right now, as much as she's changed over the years, God's not through with her yet. And he's not through with you yet. Your life is still unfolding. Things are still happening for you. You know, Kiara Shares have that song. It says, "It keeps happening for me." But you have to release your faith. And a couple of weeks ago, I heard this. My memory came up in Facebook memory, and this young man had wrote this song, and it just was, "It's never too late to release your faith." Let go now, and go ahead and walk through straight to your new. Because see, the moment that you really let go, that you let go, I mean, let go, like me, let go of the couch, let go of that thing that's holding you from reaching to the destiny that God has for you. All right, family, I think that's it today for this podcast. So I just want to leave that with you. Let go, walk through into your new. All right, family. Well, that's it for episode 2. Um, I hope that this helps you, and it blesses you. Until next time, listen. Go through your day, your week in victory, knowing that God can do anything but fail. Until next time, this is Michelle Hall with the LV. Thank you for listening.